You got to remember, maintaining muscle is infinitely easier than building it and putting it on. So, you know, if your fucking quad, let's say you pulled some shit, knock on wood, there's none in here, but whatever, right? Do as much as you can do without hurting it, right? So if all you can do is light squeezing sets on the leg extension, I say do it. Just because getting that activation, it's going to maintain so much of your development and just keep you exposed to some fucking, well, weights. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. I wouldn't say I'm really a stim junkie per se. Like, for most lifts, I stay right around probably 200, 300. But every so often, I might just do a little extra. I think when you get into, you know, 500 every lift, you may have sort of lost track of the point of you know, using the caffeine as a tool for the workout. And you're kind of just dipping into becoming, maybe not overstimulated per se, but you're just using it to a degree which just isn't really necessary. You know, I've had a lot of lifts that ended up being that simple. I'm not going to say that's the best case scenario for all your lifts, of course, but you know, if you're doing biceps and you start doing a couple sets of alternating dumbbell curls and they just feel sick, I mean, if they feel good enough, why would I want to leave and do anything else? You know, if something for whatever reason is just hitting you just right, getting right in the bullseye, that's where I'll stay. But more likely than not, I'll be satisfied after 3 or 4 sets, and I want to move on to more squeezing movements. I have one for every lift, pretty much, if I had to like put it on paper and describe it. But I'll just do it for chest now. Now, once these are done, move on to, well, the rest of the workout is pretty much up to whatever. I mean, if you've got a ton of energy at your body's disposal, aka eating in a surplus, then your body has more energy to expend on repairing itself. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was probably the last time I had a legit injury, not even gym related, was I cut my thumb, this little thumb pad, fucking like to the bone. I could see some muscles coming out of it. It was terrible. Reason being, improper cutting tool technique. But I was on a cut, and it was kind of the end of the cut. I was already like a month and a half, or like 2 months in. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, all right, cut over. Let's get some calories in my system so I can have energy to heal this fucker up and get back to doing what I like doing. I say some shit like, I'd rather get fucked up every so often than train like a pussy and never be injured. You know, those, at least very similar to those words, have come out of my mouth before. Which, yeah, I mean, really taking those words to heart, I would agree. I would much rather train the way I train than go in and do like, you know, 225 for a real slow, controlled set. Just get a little bit of a squeeze. It's, you know, but right, there's a responsibility on my shoulders where I've got to, you know my limits, which over time as a lifter you should get better and better at. But what are you gonna do? If you're going hard, I mean, the occasional tweak, it's just part of the fucking game. If you get a serious injury, do not stop lifting. Do not fucking stop. In no way is that going to do you any good, right? If you go from being like, you know, maybe not daily, but you know, week to week, consistent lifter, you're doing hard lifts, you're stimulating your freaking body. And let's say you fucking, obviously knock on wood here, but your knee fucking explodes. You get on a hoverboard and you snap your forearm. Just, I'm not trying to put ideas into your head because I feel like I'm kind of asking for trouble by even saying this sort of stuff. But let's say some part of you is fucking not good. Cast level, brace level, boot level, shit like that. A lot of rows this back day. Not that I'm complaining. I like the way it feels. So this will be kind of, I don't know, I almost feel like this is a 2-part movement. So the first half is a bit more lat biased. When I bend forward and I really stretch, I mean, that just looks like a pull down. But as I come down, I'm not just gonna stay right here. I'm gonna lean back and get a little bit more mid upper back activation. I usually like doing this kind of movement towards the end of back, just because I'm kind of working the whole thing. Whereas in the beginning, I might be more inclined to want to just hit upper back, or maybe just hit lats, like with seated rows or, pull downs. Not that you don't get any lat activation in rows, but you get what I'm saying. Just because getting that activation, it's going to maintain so much of your development and just keep you exposed to some fucking, well, weights. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. So, bad start, good end. Let's get in the car. I mean, I'm going to go to calves, but for you, let's get in the car. All right. Before I actually get into the discussion, there's fucking 4 single-serve fireballs sitting in the parking lot next to my car. Now, I mean, you gotta remember, alcohol is technically a vasodilator, aka, like citrulline, arginine, your nitric oxide, shit that's gonna improve your pump. I feel like a lot of the time, even though I love chest-supported rows, it kind of just smushes my fucking chest. Makes it sort of hard to breathe. So it feels better for me to just do one side at a time and kind of maintain more of a, let's just call it an open airway. But left side first, failure, partials, you get the gist. All right. You got to remember, maintaining muscle is infinitely easier than building it and putting it on. So, if your fucking quad, let's say you pulled some shit, knock on wood, they're not in here, but whatever, right? Do as much as you can do without hurting it, right? So if all you can do is light squeezing sets on the leg extension, I say do it. Just because getting that activation, it's going to maintain so much of your development and just keep you exposed to some fucking, well, weights. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. That's where it got me. It could have been because that was a lower incline setting than I usually do. Usually I put it up to 3, but I've been lowering it to 2 so I can get more chest and less front delt. So maybe that was just too much weight in an angle that I'm just not used to. Honestly, I think that was probably it. But apart from that, just looking overall, dude, I feel pretty fucking carved up. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's actually get into a lat spread. Yeah, right here. All right, from the front. Instant stoppage of the set. I gotta assess the damage. Not ideal. So not hospital level pull, not incapacitating level injury, but from the hole on the way up of that last rep, I could feel this kind of burning sensation right in here. And anybody that's sort of lifted for long enough and kind of has experienced a little bit of a muscle pull, I'm not talking about a whole ass tear, but like you definitely did a little bit of damage, then oof. I've done that before, and then I've done like an extra 2 or 3 reps trying to just push through it, acting as if I wasn't fucking hurt. And it has given me a little bit of a roadblock beforehand. Guess what? I'm gonna be satisfied. I'm gonna be freaking honky-dory after that. And as long as I can go into the locker room, whip the pump cover off and say, oh my goodness gracious, look at that insane pectoral pump, then I'm gonna be a happy camper. So, doesn't look too busy. Let's just get in there and get started. Let's actually get into a lat spread. Yeah, right here. from the front. Ooh, certainly not dissatisfied with that. So I'm gonna go slam calves because I didn't do calves this morning with my cardio, and then we can get in the car, get a bunch of freaking food in my system. And apart from starting the recovery process for, you know, my fucking lats and traps and everything else that just got destroyed, right? I'm definitely excited to get some food so this can jumpstart getting back to full strength. There's a responsibility on my shoulders where I've got to know my limits, which over time as a lifter you should get better and better at. But, what are you gonna do? If you're going hard, I mean, the occasional tweak, it's just part of the fucking game. I mean, how many lifts have I done since the last time I had a chest pull? Or any kind of really noticeable pull where I had to stop that particular muscle group? Dude, yeah. It's been like almost a whole year. Maybe early in the year I was doing, well, last Christmas I pulled my hamstring, so similar situation. No more hamstring that day. Right? Good lat stretch like I was saying in the bottom. And then a full fucking contraction in the back. Or the bottom. The top? Whatever. It's kind of funky. Talking about all this lift nomenclature. Either way, back pumped, chest on the road to recovery, and then nothing. Keep eating my food. Keep putting weight on the scale. We're good. Pre-workout has been consumed, so instead of just one scoop of the Hostility Blue Shark Gummy, which it's got about 300 milligrams of caffeine, I upped it just a touch. I wouldn't say I'm really a stim junkie per se. I think when you get into, 500 every lift, you may have sort of lost track of the point of using the caffeine as a tool for the workout. I mean, maybe if you take 200 milligrams of caffeine, you just don't feel anything.